start with a slip knot. Now this yarn is pretty slippery. I'm going to tell you that right up front. Fortunately, we're only casting on a total of 5 stitches, and you can do that with the knitted cast on pretty quickly. So I've made my slip knot, and now I am adding stitch 2, stitch 3, stitch 4, and stitch 5. And now we'll start with row 1. So row 1 says to knit 1 and then knit front and back. So knit 1, that's pretty straightforward. Knit front and back is a way of making 1 stitch into 2. We're going to start with like a regular knit. Wrap the yarn around, bring it to the front. But now we're going to bring the needle to the back of the stitch and knit again. So I haven't pulled anything off yet until I've knit twice. Once into the front of the stitch, once into the back, and then you can pull it off. The next step is to knit 2 together. So I take the needle to the left of the next 2 stitches and wrap around once and bring that new stitch through both old stitches, and that decreases. And then knit the last stitch. Because we did an increase stitch with the knit front and back and a decrease stitch with the knit 2 together, we still have 5 stitches at the end. Now on the wrong side, and on every wrong side row in this pattern, we're going to knit to the last 2 stitches and do another knit front and back. So in this case, we're going to knit 3. Okay, I have 2 stitches left. Knit front. So like when it says KF, that means knit front, which is just kind of a normal knit. And then back, you bring the stitch out and behind and knit again. And then knit 1. Now we should have 6 stitches. And we do. All right, now we're going to add a second color, this yellow, color B. And you do not have to cut color A. You can hold about 5 or 6 inches tail, and you're going to put your needle in color A, wrap color B around, and bring it through. So that's your first stitch. And now I know this is very loose. You can kind of tighten it up. You can do a little knot here if you want to, just to keep everything in place. All right, the next stitch is a knit front and back. And now we're going to knit to the last 3 stitches. Well, that's only 1 more stitch. So knit, and now knit 2 together, and knit 1. So we should have the same number of stitches as we did on the last row, which is 6. We knit 1, knit front and back, knit 1, knit 2 together, and knit 1. And now here is the back side, or the wrong side, of the second stripe. We're going to knit to the last 2 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, knit front and back, and knit this last one. Now I can see that it's really quite loose, and so I'm just going to pull that snug and maybe just tie it once around to kind of anchor it there, and we'll tuck in this end we'll tuck in this end at the end. Okay. All right. So now you have a purple stripe and you have a yellow stripe, and now we're going to pull the purple yarn back up to do another purple stripe. Okay. So now we have knit, knit front and back, knit to the last 3 stitches. So now we knit 1, 2, knit 2 together, and knit 1. Okay, and then when we turn it over, we knit to the last 2 stitches, and then knit 1. So I knit to the last 2 stitches, knit front and back in the second to last stitch, and knit 1 on the end. So you can tell this is the wrong side, quote unquote, because the colors aren't sharp. The stripes sort of blend. And then on the right side, you have more defined stripes. So if you're ever wondering which side you're on this side with the more defined stripes, that's where you knit 1, knit front and back, knit to the last 3, and knit these 2 together, and then knit 1. And on this side, you knit to the last 2 stitches, knit front and back, and then knit 1.